foreclosure timeline and explain to people that it is updated. And I checked some of the strongest sources because I wanted to come up to speed before I did a video, make sure I was correct. And I can tell you that, including my own site, I just recently updated upsidedownrealestate.com, and the place where I kept my content, they went out of business, and now I have to bring everything up to speed. And I'm going to tell you, realtor websites, lawyer websites, they're basically wrong. And part of the reason is that there's a federal rule, a federal cooling off period that you can tack on mentally, because it happens in real life, to the foreclosure timeline. So the old timeline's in California, and it still is the California timeline, but it cannot begin until 120 days later than it used to begin when I last counseled people on this years ago. So you can find out more at my website. In fact, I could try to bring it up right now and just read off of it if we can do it quickly. If not, I will just it's going to work because I know how to use this software now. So here it is. This is my update this is upsidedownrealestate.com, California foreclosure timeline, and how attorneys can extend it 90 days. So first of all, we have it set up like this. You've got the federal waiting period. That's 120 days, so 4 months approximately. And there's an overlap phase for Californians meet and confer. So that would be within, even though it's 30 days, it's within the 120. So far we're at 4 months. Now, that doesn't mean that your lender's even going to start the process in a timely manner. Every lender's different. Sometimes they'll send warning letters to you, and we don't know when they're going to consider their 120 days up. So it could be more than that, but at some point in time, they will begin. That's the minimum. After, like, if you stop paying your payment, the payment's due. I would say, based on the timeline as an attorney, that at the least amount of time before the notice of default gets filed by a lender in California would be 120 days. So you just bought yourself 4 more months from the way foreclosures used to be in California. Now, should you take that 4 months every time? No, because you might be taking up a clock on a deficiency. And after you've talked to an attorney, you're like, wow, I'm going to get cancellation of debt income. Most of my arguments that would be against me having to pay taxes on it aren't available. I'm not insolvent. Mortgage Debt Foreclosure Forgiveness Act already expired. So, and I'm not going to try to dispute the debt because it seems legit. I mean, after you've conferred with an attorney. So some of my leverage is gone. I don't really want to go that year or two into non-payment because I don't want to deal with the tax exposure. But other people, they want to stay in the property. Maybe they've got purchase money loans or other reasons not to be worried about cancellation of debt income so that the expiration of the Mortgage Debt Forgiveness Act doesn't bother them, and they're going to want to stay. So now, in my thoughts, after about 121 days, you could get a notice of default in California. And that's the one that you'll see, at least when I checked on the ones I searched. This is what you'll see on most lawyer websites and probably realtor websites, not the California Association of Realtors. I don't even know if it's on their website, but their form is solid. It's not nearly. I was expecting to go to California Association of Realtor and see this beautiful timeline that made sense in my head. Hint, car, you probably should do what you used to do, but they nevertheless have a good explanation. So we're looking at starting the notice of default, and then you have 90 days to cure. So that's 3 months. Then you have notice of trustee sale. I would not play games with the notice of trustee. If you're planning to save your property, don't play games this late into it. I used to always get nervous. Trustees could play difficult. It could get difficult. Like if you were gonna hire me or any lawyer, and you got to start acting fast, your costs for being protected are going to go up. Like it gets really hairy in there. Sometimes when people come in and see right beforehand, you're like, well, we've got to do this, but I am not even prepared to file a bankruptcy that fast. That I don't have that much familiarity with the courts that I am going to guarantee you, pay me money, I'm going to do all the work, and we'll get this and save your day. I mean, I told people I can't do this 2 or 3 days out. Some people actually went the same day and got it done. He's working with me. He's like, I want to stop it. He went and saw a bankruptcy attorney, stopped it. We came back and worked out a short sale. It can be done, but that's getting close. I mean, you're looking at 200, 212 days, and that's if the lender hits their minimum. 234, this is just rough. Like, you might be exceptions. You might not meet the 1 to 4 properties or the other standards. This is also not for judicial foreclosure. This is non-judicial. 234 days, about 7.5 months. But you can extend this longer. One of the ways to do it would be working with an attorney broker would be ideal, because you'll set this up. You'll see your exposure to taxes. You'll see if you have any ways to get around the cancellation of debt income, protect your credit. That most people would still say you'd probably rather see a short sale on your record rather than a foreclosure, although the difference in time might not matter. That depends on the lender and how it gets reported and how you negotiate your approval letter. But you can buy just simply, not simply, but doing it the right time, noticing the right people, you can get 45 days for listing your property. And then an attorney, like, lenders probably aren't going to want to stop. But then there's a law in California called, they can't dual track. So if you meet that criteria and you contact the right lenders and do it the right way, you can get that foreclosure tabled while you have 45 days to get an offer. And when you get an offer, you can get another 45 days. And short sales with different lenders and different time, and they're not necessarily California. I mean, I think you could extend this out comfortably past a year in most circumstances. And in our experience in the past, sometimes a short sale alone itself would take a year, year and a half. Sometimes lenders, when their insurance paid off, wouldn't want to do anything before then. But because we were saying you got to negotiate in good faith, we're lawyers, you can't do this, they didn't foreclose. We would make problems with the trustee. Trustees are now requiring servicers to make all sorts of guarantees. I just got a call from a friend. Well, it doesn't matter. Just trust me on this. So you have a lot of options to stay in the house as long as you want, but there can be downsides. And the longer you do it, sometimes the harder it is to get a long workout. Like if you've triggered, they crash out. I'm talking to my kids. Then maybe they'll just say, no, we won't do anything with you. We're not going to do a loan mod. We're not going to do a short sale. We're not going to do a short payoff. We're foreclosing. And you can still stop it. I mean, you can stop it for up to 10 years. One of our clients was about 10 years before they lost the ski house. So that's the foreclosure timeline. It's for educational purposes. I have it written at upsidedownrealestate.com. But always call me to make sure we don't have to update it. I mean, if this is important to you, give us a call. Thanks. Talk to you later. Bye.